I gave you my number one concern. My number one concern is is that watching 2 weeks ago from that Colts game is that the run game gets away from the Texans. That's my number one concern going up against the number one rush defense with Lamar Jackson a part of that. For you, you said you wanted to think on it a bit. What is your Clint Stoerner right here? What is your number one concern for the Texans walking into this game on Saturday?
Tight ends. Baltimore's tight ends.
That's the number one for you.
My number one concern. There is obviously they're getting Mark Andrews back, but this would have been my concern with or without Mark Andrews. My concern is not the greatness of Mark Andrews, guys and gals that are out there listening. My concern is that this is a different offense. This is not the tight end heavy, tailback heavy, run first football. Even though they are the best run team in the league statistically, they're not the same team they were last time Lamar Jackson was the MVP. Clearly, all they used at that point in time was tight ends, right? This is a different offense, and for me, it's not about Mark Andrews' greatness, because clearly he's a great one. This is more about schematically. Like, I trust that DeMeco Ryans is going to have a spy answer for Lamar Jackson, right? Whatever the coverage is, whether it's a backer or a safety, somebody's going to be spying Lamar Jackson the majority of the time, damn sure in critical situations.
Yeah.
Right? You talked yesterday about this being one of the football teams that has an entire, like an old school mindset to running the football. They talk about being physical, and they are physical, right? So, but I trust that DeMeco Ryans is going to have a plan to stop the run. Zay Flowers is a guy that we saw at week 1 and it hadn't slowed down since. They're going to move him all over the place. He's going to be a gadget guy. He's going to be a guy that can catch the football behind the line of scrimmage in the quick game as well as the mid-range game and even deep if you let him get behind you. I believe that DeMeco Ryans is going to have an answer for the spy on Lamar, stopping the run, and I believe he's going to have an answer for keeping track of Zay Flowers. The problem with all that, Ron, is all three of them have been very effective this year. And all three of them are some of the sexiest eye candy that you're going to see in the NFL.
And when you say sexy eye candy, you mean?
There's a lot going on. Who am I watching? Zay Flowers, Lamar Jackson. Oh, all of a sudden they're downhill. This run game's downhill in my face.
Yeah.
Right?
Zay Flowers goes in motion. You're looking.
Where's he at?
He lines up in the backfield now.
Communicated. Oh, hey, make sure you stay on your keys in the run game because they'll get downhill on you. Make sure, we got the perfect defense call. We play the perfect coverage up. Lamar Jackson's out the back door. All that eye candy, all those distractions, right? I just firmly believe that this group is going to have a really good, at least have answers, a plan. Let's not say no answers. Let's say a plan to address that. But with all that eye candy, all it takes is one guy, 1 or 2 or 3 times, get his eyes in the wrong place, and Mark Andrews is over the top. Isaiah Likely's catching a one-handed ball in the flats, and he's down the sideline, hitting his head on the goalpost. These two tight ends have they're really good targets, obviously. But when you put them as the counterpunch to Lamar and stopping the run and Zay Flowers moving all over the place, the tight ends are the one that can bust this thing wide open if you're not careful.
There was, just listening to you, there was a play in the Dolphins game where Isaiah Likely, he just comes wide open for a touchdown. They do it Ricard too, wide open for a touchdown where he is on one side of the formation and everybody is all that eye candy you're talking, and then he just leaks out and he is literally the only person, offense or defense, on that side of the field, and it's an easy touchdown catch, and he walks into the end zone because everything they're created is almost as if he was forgotten.
Yep, that's the part that scares me, man.
And that's without Mark Andrews on the field.
Yep, that's the part that scares me. And here's the other deal. You get into the red zone, we talked about it earlier, like the answer for me is like there's been a couple of times this year, multiple times this year actually, where it's just been blatantly obvious where the quarterback's going with the football in the red zone because they're getting the tight end matched up on Denzel Perryman or Henry To'oTo'o. Right? I mean, and that, even if you end up in that coverage, like you can't show me that pre-snap. Like, you can't just line up and let me go, oh, Mark Andrews, Perryman, got this, right? And no disrespect to Perryman, it's just a reality. He's about one of the best tight ends in the game. And I think the same thing holds true with Likely. Those guys are going to be a problem in the red zone if you present a very clear picture to Lamar Jackson pre and post snap. Like that's got to be muddy as ever, cloudy as ever in the middle of the field in the red zone to make sure the tight ends don't hurt you as well.